welcome to the latest episode of Nerdy Movie News Roundup, the show where we round up all of the latest news, or the biggest news stories in this past week of nerdy movies. That's the way it goes. Yeah, we have a pretty stacked show. Well, it's mostly stacked because I added some segments. So we're gonna try to get through this in hopefully an orderly fashion. So yeah, we'll get to them. Okay, first up we have a new trailer for Peacemaker. This is a Red Band trailer. Although if I'm being honest, they didn't really show anything that bad here. I guess it's a Red Band trailer because he swore. Peacemaker swore. I think that's why. Because there's really nothing too gruesome going on here, but it still looks good. I'm still interested in it. Still don't think it looks amazing, but like I've said before, I like James Gunn. I liked the Suicide Squad. I liked this character. I'm interested in seeing where this character develops further. Okay, the next trailer is the trailer for The Boys Season 3. Very short, we're going to get to the end of it here, but it's just, the slow zoom into Homelander's face, and then you see the facade break right there, yeah. And then we get the date for June 3rd, 2022. So, yeah. Very exciting. I absolutely adore the show, and I think they've said that we're going to see Homelander just truly just go all out next season, right? Cuz he's had some limitations, whether it be his mommy with the mommy milkies, the lady. And then I guess on the second, and I guess it's just kind of been all of his friendships surrounding him has kind of been holding him back. But at the end of the last season, he was more or less left on his own. There isn't even a facade of the other heroes kind of being friends with him. We saw the Wonder Woman lady, she came in to help the day, so he's more or less just on his own. And I think we're just gonna see him snap right at some throughout the season, and I just can't wait for the show. It's amazing. Okay, so that's it for the trailers. Now let's move on to the actual news stories. So first up, it seems like we have some Black Adam spin-offs that are in development. This is coming from producer Hiram Garcia via the Comic Book Reporter. We introduced a lot of new characters in here, and a lot of these characters are big fan favorites, so we're currently working on spin-offs that we can do for some of those characters. We're fleshing it all out, and we have very big ambitions for it. The priority is always making sure we launch this movie right, but we're always going to be ready when the time comes to be able to jump into those other movies and tell those stories when the fans want. Nothing is left off the table when you're dealing with characters of this nature and scale, and in terms of how we can best deliver more content to the fans. So that continues to go, and you're going to start to hear announcements regarding some of these characters and who we're going to finally be able to tell a little bit more on going forward. So it seems they're already thinking of potential spin-offs from Black Adam. I imagine that they're probably going to be streaming shows on HBO Max, because that kind of seems to be the direction that Warner Media is heading in, where they're going to be making these theatrically released movies, and then they're clearly eager on a. Sorry, I'm getting parched. Drinking Diet Dr. Pepper, which, by the way, not good. Don't get it. But yeah, so this kind of seems the direction that Warner Media is going in, where they're making their theatrical movies, and then they're wanting to branch them off into HBO Max spin-off shows. We're seeing it with the Batman, right, with the GCPD and Penguin show, right? We were just talking about Peacemaker, and so yeah, I guess this isn't too surprising, but I think some of his language there was kind of telling, where he says we're looking to launch the movie first, right? I think he said something like we're looking to launch the movie the right way, and I think that's kind of telling that maybe this time they're not wanting to get a bit overzealous, right? Like they're probably going to want to wait and see how Black Adam does before they commit to a show, because with the Suicide Squad, the movie wasn't very successful, but they already kind of committed to the show, so it's like we're getting a spin-off show from a character from a movie that wasn't very successful. So I imagine they're probably not going to want to put themselves in that situation again, but I don't know, that's speculation. Maybe tomorrow we'll get an announcement of Global Glorp from Black Adam, a spin-off show, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you think about a Black Adam spin-off show. Does that excite you? I think the Justice Society is going to be in this movie, so I mean, there's definitely characters from that could probably be spun off, like Dr. Fate and people like that. So we'll see. Next story. In a cruel April Fool's prank, Morbius has been delayed. It's coming from the Hollywood Reporter. The movie, starring Jared Leto, has set a new release date of April 1st amid the Omicron surge, and had been set to open in theaters on January 28th. So, if I'm being honest, I haven't exactly been pumped for Morbius. Didn't really love the Venom movies. They just did not instill any confidence that this would be something good or of note. So I'm open to it, but I'm not like too distressed that the fact that this was delayed 3 months. Where this does worry me, and we'll get to another story that kind of plays into this, why this kind of worries me is the potential domino effect of, this being the first instance of 2022 being 2020 part 2, where just like an entire year's worth of movies just gets delayed. And mainly I'm talking about the Batman. Do not delay the Batman. I don't think I'm going to be able to carry on if I do not get the Batman on March 4th. So don't delay the Batman. Next story. Black Widow. Remember that movie? I sure don't. But kind of a forgettable. No, I mean it was fine. Honestly, I don't get the hate for Black Widow. Like there are people who like really hate it, but it's just like a generic Marvel movie to me. Like I don't really understand having strong opinions on this movie either way. But what we can understand is the fact that it lost a lot of money. This is coming from Deadline. By the end of August, sources in the know informed us that Black Widow had been pirated more than 20 million times. That's close to a $600 million estimated loss on Black Widow in Disney Plus PVOD revenue alone. Now, it seems like they're getting this figure by just multiplying 20 million by 30, because the movie costs $30 on Disney Plus. But that's assuming that everybody that pirated it would have instead bought it if they didn't have the option to pirate it, when they, like, a lot of them probably would have just gone to the theater where the tickets are cheaper, where they're only like $10 to $15, or they might have just not watched the movie. $600 I feel like is a grossly overestimated sum. I feel like it's probably closer to like $300, maybe $400 million worth lost. And even then, it's like, this is a weird calculation, but either way, clearly, when you put a movie day and date on a streaming service, people are going to pirate it. And it's just like another sort of reason as to why day and date releases for movies on streaming services just aren't really viable unless you make a movie for a streaming service. And then that's kind of in your sort of, calculations of what, in terms of the financing of the film, right? Where that you're not going to necessarily make money off of it because it's going to be on a streaming service, if that makes any sense, right? Because Black Widow, it was dependent on box office and direct revenue from the PVOD. So yeah, I mean, this is just another reason to show why just doing day and date releases on streaming just doesn't really work. Okay, next story. Do you remember what's the name of that show? Cowboy Bebop. Did that make you angry? Well, look at this. It's a pirate ship from One Piece. I don't know anything about One Piece. But look at these pirate ships. No, that was spoilers for the next segment. Yeah, these get angry because this is another anime that Netflix is gonna ruin. I don't know anything about One Piece. I don't have anything to say about these ships. I just wanted to instill terror in you with the knowledge that more Netflix live action anime adaptations are in fact coming. Okay, next story. The CW is, oh geez. I I didn't take into account that my camera was going to be behind this PNG. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. um but the CW is apparently going to be for sale. So let's get into it. It's coming from the Hollywood Reporter. The broadcast network, home to shows like Batwoman and Walker, is being shopped by its corporate owners, Viacom, CBS, and Warner Media. Multiple sources confirmed to the Hollywood Reporter, or multiple sources confirmed to the Hollywood Reporter, all of that stuff that I just said. And further on, news of the possible sale arrives as the network, a joint venture between CBS and Warner Media, has never been profitable since its formation in 2006. Now that's crazy. The fact that CBS or the CW has never been profitable, that's just a crazy thing to think about. When the two companies merged the former UPN and the WB network. Much of the revenue that is generated from the younger skewing network is generated from international and streaming sales for such scripted originals as The Flash and Dynasty. The CW previously had a long-standing output deal with Netflix that helped series like Riverdale and All American reach broader audiences and ultimately grow on linear. That pact ended in 2019 as Warner Brothers TV and CBS Studios shifted library deals to their respective streamers, HBO Max and Paramount Plus. Also impacting the profit margins on originals is the fact that foreign sales have almost entirely ended as CBS Studios and Warner's look to retain those rights for their respective streamers. The end of the Netflix output deal and loss of revenue from foreign sales created a larger concern for the studios that previously generated revenue not from linear but from Netflix and international sales. So, yeah, I mean, basically what this is saying is that Warner Media and Viacom CBS starting their own streaming services has basically killed the profitability of the CW. Because if you didn't quite get that from what I just read, basically, since, shows like The Flash didn't actually make its money back airing on the CW. It made its money back because after a season would air, they would sell the rights for streaming to Netflix and to other like foreign companies in other countries, and that's where those shows made their money back. And now because of their own streaming services that these companies have, they're not getting that revenue anymore, and these shows are, I guess, just straight up not profitable anymore. And the network as a whole is no longer profitable. And yeah, now they're looking to sell it. So obviously, as it pertains to this show that I'm doing right now, let me take a. I apologize. Hold on. But yeah, as it pertains to this show, obviously, we all probably care about the Arrowverse, and care in quotes, because a lot of us probably don't even care about the Arrowverse, but we care about its existence, I guess. But basically what I'm saying is that, what does this mean for the Arrowverse? Well, as far as I can tell, this basically means that the Arrowverse is more or less going to die. Because now I don't know what the contracts are for these shows. Like, I don't know where they stand. I don't know for how long they extend. But when this CW gets sold off, my guess is going to be is that, whatever was planned to air on the CW whenever that sale goes off will probably air. But they either, again, I don't know what the contracts are, but at best, they'll be able to continue the shows that they've already been making. Like they at best they might have the rights to continue like Batwoman and the Flash and Legends of Tomorrow and Black Lightning, but I doubt that Warner Media will ever give them more characters for them to make new shows with, right? So at best, they would be able to continue the shows that they're already doing, but I don't think they would be able to expand the Arrowverse further. And at worst, the way that these contracts maybe work, I don't know, is that well, whatever is set up to air will air, but you can't make any more Arrowverse shows. And again, I doubt that Warner Media will allow them or give them the rights to make more of them because again, like we just read, they are dead set on their own streaming service, HBO Max. So, yeah, as far as I can tell, if a sale like this goes through, that probably means the death of the Arrowverse. Which, I mean, it's gonna be unfortunate. Like, I definitely fell off of it, but I've always appreciated that it's just kind of there. That it's like like I've always just appreciated that it exists and like it kind of is the DC's version of the MCU, right? Because on the movie side, it all kind of imploded, and now it's this mess of who knows what. But in the background, the Arrowverse has just kind of been chugging along, and it's doing the MCU cinematic universe thing. So it would be sad if it ended. And I know obviously there are people that enjoy those shows, but yeah, what do you think about all this? Like, it seems pretty dire if you're a fan of the Arrowverse. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. All right, next story. Invincible season 2 hasn't started production yet, believe it or not. It's coming from Stephen Yoon via Collider. We haven't started. I know we're starting at some point soon. I've talked to Robert here and there. He's super excited about it. He thinks season 2 is going to be even better than season 1, which I have no doubt about. If you go to his source material, Invincible is an incredible comic, and just thinking about how much story hasn't been told from that run, it's going to be bonkers. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, I was pretty shocked to hear this, that they haven't started work on Invincible season 2 yet. What? Like, I and I've seen the argument of like, oh, well, they need to take their time and do it right. And I get that. But taking your time still means like active development. And it's been like 8 months since the end of season 1. So, like, they should have started by now. All right, hey, what's up? Sorry. I had to stop for a second there, but yeah, Invincible season 2. It's been 8 months since it ended, um, or since the first season ended. The last episode aired. Kind of ridiculous that they haven't started yet. So I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, I'm still insanely excited for the second season. I was just kind of expecting it to come back like June or July of this year. It seems like we're going to have to wait a lot longer than that, considering they haven't started working on it yet. So, it is what it is. Let me know what you think about that in the comments or whatever. Next story. So, kind of in relation to what we were talking about with the Morbius delay, Turning Red, which is the latest Pixar film, has officially been moved to Disney Plus. It's coming from the Hollywood Reporter. The Pixar film will bypass a theatrical release and instead launch exclusively on the streaming service March 11th. It had previously been set to hit the big screen on that date. And then this is just kind of like the official statement by Disney. Given the delayed box office recovery, particularly for family films, flexibility remains at the core of our distribution decisions as we prioritize delivering the unparalleled content of the Walt Disney Company to audiences around the world. So, yeah, this is yet another Pixar movie that is kind of just being shoved onto Disney Plus. I mean, I know that like Pixar employees have been really mad about the fact that Soul and Luca were both put on Disney Plus instead of given theatrical releases. And I mean, it definitely does seem targeted, although I don't necessarily think it is. Like, yes, we've seen like movies like Black Widow and Jungle Cruise. I think Cruella, right? I think those all got like, at the very least, got hybrid releases with the premiere access and in theaters at the same time. But those all failed, and they tried to do Moana, which is like a family friendly Disney animated movie. And I don't think it's done very well. Let me just look up the box office real quick. Moana. Not Moana. Encanto. What am I even saying? Encanto. Box office. So it looks like it's made around $200 million worldwide, which is not good. Yeah, that's not good. Let's see, what was the budget of it? Let's see. Yeah, with like a budget of $120 to $150 million. Yeah, that's simply not enough money, So when you look at all of that, I can understand this decision, and I have no doubt that that Omicron obviously probably has a big role to play in all of this. So I can see sort of the view of Disney trying to undermine Pixar, and not even undermine Pixar, but like targeting Pixar for these Disney Plus releases. But when you look at the state of everything, I don't necessarily know that you can say that, even though the last 3 Pixar movies have been put on Disney Plus, and that sucks, right? So I mean, yeah, I think you just look at like the box office of Encanto, and yeah, like you can see why they would do it. So yeah, again, this is sort of that domino effect that I was talking about with Morbius that I really don't want to see. Even though this isn't a delay, this is like taking it off of theaters, and I don't want to see this trend. I just don't. So please stop it, movie industry. Although on a serious note, of course, like if you have to delay movies, I'm not going to be like, don't lose money and release it anyways. Like I'm not gonna be like that. So yeah, next story. Scott Pilgrim. That's a comic book. It's getting an anime. I do not have much to say about this. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Scott Pilgrim, the graphic novel series that was adapted into an Edgar Wright vehicle, is once again headed to the screen, this time as an anime series. Netflix and UCP, the division of Universal Studio Group behind The Umbrella Academy and Chucky, are developing the brand new adaptation, which does not yet have a series order. So sure, why not? I mean, I liked the Scott Pilgrim movie, but I saw it when I was young, and I honestly don't remember that much of it. So I don't have any strong attachment to this franchise. But an anime seems like a decent medium to do another to have another go at it. So sure, why not? Um, Congratulations, Scott Pilgrim people. Okay, next story. Fallout. Another thing that I don't have a lot to say about. It's coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Variety has confirmed that Geneva Robertson Duorit and Graham Wagner are now attached to serve as co-showrunners on the video game adaptation. In addition, Jonathan Nolan will direct the first episode of the series. Nolan and Lisa Joy were previously announced as executive producers on the project under the Kilter Films banner. So sure, more development on the Fallout show. I've never played Fallout. I don't have much else to say about it, other than I think Jonathan Nolan. I think he did Westworld, which I wasn't a huge fan of, so that's not a great news for me personally. But I don't have much to say about the show. So, that was the last news item. So now, I figured this, since it's the new year, it would be cool to take a look into the future, into the beyond of all of the comic book movies and, big relevant shows that I'm also including in this, coming out in 2022. So that is what we're going to do. We're just going to go through everyone, and this is not good. Why is everything just shutting down? Okay, hold on. See if I can get this working again. Hello, hi, how are you? Sorry about that. Okay. So first up, we have Peacemaker that is coming January 13th, 2022, and it looks good. I think this, like I've said before, I think this show looks good. Again, not super excited for it. The trailers haven't exactly grabbed me, but it's James Gunn, and I'm definitely excited about it. March 4th, we have the Batman. And as of now, we have the Batman. And my emotional well-being is dependent on March 4th having the Batman. Honestly, honest to God, I don't think I don't know that I haven't been anticipating a movie this much. Maybe since the original Batman v Superman, when I was a young buck and I had a positive outlook on the future of the DCEU. Honestly, like, this movie just looks absolutely amazing. It looks like, I don't know if it's going to be the best Batman movie, but it looks like, at least to me, it's going to be just the best portrayal of the character that we've ever seen. It just looks amazing. So I need this movie. Please, 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 please don't get delayed. Okay, don't, Turning Red. Disney, they're cowards. Sony, they're cowards. Warner Media, you guys are chads, and you guys are gonna ride off of the hype of No Way Home and swing on into the Batman. You can do it. But yeah. Now it was going to be on January something, but now on April 1st we're getting Morbius, maybe, hopefully, I guess. Again, I don't have much hype or anticipation for this movie, but it's a movie that's coming this year. And yeah, the trailers have been fine, I guess, but again, the Venom and Venom 2, they just weren't good to me. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised by this. Next up, on May 6th, we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think this looks great. I think Sam Raimi, you can really feel Sam Raimi's hand behind the camera. And I think this is going to be a lot of wacky fun. I anticipate this to potentially shake the Marvel Universe up in crazy ways. Will it introduce the X-Men? Will we see, like, Fox X-Men? Probably. We're probably going to get crazy cameos that we didn't expect. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. And, yeah. And I guess there might be horror elements to this, I guess, probably, and that'll be cool, too. Okay. On May 20th, we have DC League of Super Pets. This movie looks bad. I mean, I guess it doesn't look bad, but it just looks like a generic Illumination movie because it is a generic Illumination movie, and I that it, like people say that like DreamWorks is like generic or whatever, but honestly, I think DreamWorks generally makes like decent stuff at the very least. Like like there's like an artistic integrity to the stuff that they do. Like the Kung Fu Panda movies, How to Train Your Dragon, even Shrek. Like Shrek is at least like fun and creative, right? There's just something so soul crushingly bland about Illumination movies. Like the Despicable Me movies and the Secret Life of Pets and like Sing. I just do not vibe with these movies at all. And this again, I know the thing that bugs me about this the most is that I thought this was going to be a movie about all of the pets of the Justice League, but it's just Crypto and a bunch of other random animals that get superpowers. That's boring. Okay, I wanted to see all the superheroes' pets, but whatever. It'll probably be fine, and kids will probably enjoy it. On July 8th, we have Thor: Love and Thunder. Again, I did not take into account my camera. This show is a disaster, isn't it? um, yeah. Here's the thing. I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok, but I didn't love it as much as most people. I guess like it was definitely funny and right. Like I laughed a lot, but I thought it veered a little too far into the comedy, if I'm being honest, and I didn't really find it like emotionally compelling, I guess. So yeah, so that's why I'm definitely eager to see this, but I'm not like super as excited like a lot of people are. The one thing that does kind of intrigue me though is that Jane Foster is going to be in this as Lady Thor. I said Jane Foster, I mean Natalie Portman is going to be in this as Jane Foster, who is Lady Thor. And again, I'm not like a comics guy, but from what I understand about the Jane Foster Thor storyline, there is actually some potential for like a really emotional storyline that I will be very interested to see if they go there. I don't know that they are, but I'll be very interested, and it could prove to be one of the more emotional stories in the MCU. So, well, I'm excited and I'm curious about this one. Okay. On July 29th, we have Black Adam. This is one of those movies that's I think they announced it like literally 8 years ago that The Rock was gonna be Black Adam, and it's finally coming. And I honestly don't really have much feelings towards this movie. I really do have to wait for a trailer to get a feel for it and see what it's about. Right? Like, is it gonna be fun like Shazam? Is it gonna be darker because he's an anti-hero? Like, what's going on? I don't know, but I'm curious, I guess. Okay, October 7th, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Heck yeah. This movie, I am so pumped for it. Like, I mean, the first movie was just such a pleasant surprise, you know, just such a wonderful story with Miles Morales. The animation was incredible. It was just across the board, just like it's one of the best comic book movies ever made. It's probably my favorite Spider-Man movie, and it's incredible. And again, like when you look at like the scene with Miles and Gwen, it's like this movie looks like it's just gonna suck you right back into the vibe of the first one, and it looks like it's gonna be amazing. And then when he goes into I think what people are speculating is like an Indian Spider-Man universe, or I guess just another universe where he's in India. It's probably not an Indian universe, but it also just like the animation, just the different styles look amazing. Very curious to see what's going on with Spider-Man 2099. Like, why is he attacking Miles? What's going on there? I'm curious and I'm interested. Also weird that it's part one. So yeah, can't wait for this movie. Obviously, November 4th we have The Flash. I think my feelings are kind of obvious how I feel about this movie, considering that I chose Michael Keaton's Batman as a representative instead of the Flash. Yeah, like this is just one of those movies where this is either like Warner Brothers finally having like a clear idea, like yeah, this movie is going to be Warner Brothers either finally having a clear idea of what they want to do with their DCEU, or it's going to be the ultimate just dumpster fire of throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. Because in this movie, apparently, we're getting Michael Keaton as Batman. We're getting Ben Affleck as Batman. We're getting a Supergirl character. We're getting what else has been confirmed about this movie? Oh yeah, apparently we're getting Zod and Feora. It's like so much stuff, and then apparently spinning off of this movie, which okay, well I guess we'll get to we'll get to that other movie later, but it's like, I mean, A, this could very easily be a disaster, and B, the Flash just isn't front and center in this, and that's kind of not good, right? But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm hoping I go into this and I'm like, wow, that was a great Flash movie, right? Where it was very clearly a Flash movie and it is a great Flash story with the accoutrements of the Batman stuff. But yeah, I mean, we'll wait to see what happens with that movie. Okay, and on November 11th, wow, is that really the dates as of right now? Dang. Okay, the Flash or Black Panther have to move because they can't release these movies close to each other. But apparently on November 11th, we have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Yeah, this movie has just been a mess, right? I mean, first of all, there was the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman, which I mean, kind of forced what's the director's name? Ryan Coogler to kind of like write up another story without the T'Challa character, which I mean, and not to get into this whole debate, but like, in my opinion, I think it would have been fine to recast the role of T'Challa, but that's not where they went. They rewrote the movie. It is what it is, right? And then COVID happened, obviously, which I'm sure made things harder. Now we have Letitia Wright not wanting to get vaccinated, and apparently that stopped the production of the movie, and it's just a whole load of just messiness. And it absolutely makes me wonder about the quality of the movie. Like, wow, where is this all going to end up? Like it, but we'll see what happens. And I'm hoping for the best, right? I'm hoping that they can find a way to, or that Ryan Coogler has found a way to, in a rapid fashion, sort of change the story, but still have it be good, and hopefully kind of segues the character of T'Challa out in a way that makes sense and is, satisfying and doesn't feel. I hope whoever takes up the mantle of Black Panther doesn't feel like an imposter. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot riding on this movie, and hopefully it'll be good. Okay, on December 16th, we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. This is I don't really care about this movie, if I'm being completely honest. I thought the first Aquaman was fine, I guess, but there just honestly wasn't too much. There just wasn't really anything compelling about the movie. It was just like, it was just kind of an entertaining enough CGI fest where Jason Momoa is hot and he's fighting fish, I guess. But yeah, I can't say I'm necessarily anticipating this, but hey, I do enjoy James Wan as a director, and hopefully maybe he's gonna do something interesting with this one. But yeah, so that's everything that has like a confirmed release date. Now let's look at some stuff that either we know is coming out this year, but we don't know when, or may potentially come out this year. So first up, we have Moon Knight. So this is a Disney Plus show that I'm eager to see. If I'm being, well, no, I do think it looks really cool. Like, I like the concept of this sort of like, I guess like Moon Knight. The sort of gimmick of him is that he like he's like a regular person, but then when he goes to sleep, he like wakes up as Moon Knight, and then to him it's just a dream, but it's actually him like waking up and fighting crime. I'm like, that sort of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde sort of dynamic is definitely like super interesting. But when they showed us like some teaser footage at the Disney Plus day, and it looks like really dark and violent, and I'm like, okay, this I feel like this show is kind of gonna give me an indication of where Disney could potentially take Daredevil if they ever decide to do another show on Disney Plus. I'm like, I feel like this show is going to be an indication of how far that show could actually go, and if it could actually, live up to the Netflix show. So, eagerly waiting for this. Also, Oscar Isaacs, screw you. You're too handsome, okay? It's not fair. Leave some handsomeness for the rest of us. And then another show that's coming out this year is She-Hulk. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely intrigued by this. I'm mostly just impressed that they're actually gonna have like a CGI Hulk, right? Like it's not like Tatiana Maslany in green makeup. And apparently, it's just gonna the entire show for the most part is just gonna be her. Like she's gonna be CGI Hulk, which is just super impressive, and hopefully it looks good. But from what I understand, this is gonna be like a legal procedural comedy thing, and that's interesting. I mean, apparently we're gonna get a ton of like impressive cameos where she's gonna be like representing superheroes. So, and obviously she's also a lawyer, so we're probably gonna see Daredevil here. And I mean, yeah, we're also getting Abomination back in this, which is super cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to this. Another show that is coming out this year is Miss Marvel. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited for this. I didn't know anything about the character until I played that Avengers game, which was not very good. However, Miss Marvel was actually the best part about it, and what actually made it not be terrible, right? Like she was actually like a really great character in that game. And so yeah, I really enjoy this character, and I think this actress, I don't remember her name, but she seems like perfect for the role, and I'm excited for it. I know they're not giving her like the stretchy powers, and she's gonna have more like, I guess, like force powers, not like Star Wars the Force, but she's gonna make like force shields or something. It looks weird, admittedly, but I don't know. Apparently, I don't know if it's gonna be related to Captain Marvel in some fashion, or to like the powers that the lady has, Monica Rambeau has, because I know the Marvels is going to be a movie starring her, Miss Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Captain Marvel. So I don't know if her powers are going to be related to that at all, but yeah, I don't know why they didn't decide to go with the stretchy powers. Maybe budgetary reasons, but at that point, why not make a Miss Marvel movie, right? But I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm not too pressed about it, but I'm also not like a massive Miss Marvel fan. So I like the character for like her personality. So I'm not like too attached to the stretchiness or anything. Okay. Next up, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Yeah, I mean, I think this could potentially be really cool. I don't know how long this is gonna be. Like, I imagine it's a holiday special, so it's probably gonna be like 45 minutes to an hour. Like, this isn't gonna be a show, obviously, but basically they're filming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 now, which is scheduled to release in 2023, and they said that during that production, they're gonna make this holiday special to be released the year prior to the release of Volume 3, which is this year, and obviously they're gonna release it in December, right? So yeah, that's when we should be expecting it, but we don't have an exact date, and they haven't, I guess, come out and said it's coming out in 2022, but because this is the year before Volume 3, it's gonna come out this year. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited to see what this is. James Gunn is coming back to write and direct it, and I imagine it's probably going to be a ton of fun. And okay, so the other show coming out this year is I Am Groot. Now, this is going to be a series of shorts, I believe, about Baby Groot. So that's going to be adorable. I feel like, and I don't know this, but I have a feeling that this is going to be kind of like Star Wars Visions, where they're just going to release all of it at once, cuz I don't know that they would release like little shorts on a weekly basis. So I imagine this is just going to be something that they put out all at once, and it's going to be cute and adorable. And yeah, I mean, I'm down to watch it. Okay, now let's talk about some stuff that does not have a release date, but it has been casually talked about in articles as coming out in 2022. Although at this point, probably not, but maybe. First up, we have Batgirl. This is going to be an HBO Max movie, right? So, very interesting that they've decided to have this not be a theatrical release, but it is going to be a movie that is just going to show up on HBO Max, which I think is super interesting, actually. Like, I think that's something that I think would be cool for, Marvel also to, like, experiment with, make a movie and just put it out on HBO Max. Like, I think that could be cool. But yeah, this is starring Leslie Grace. She was in the Heights, that musical that nobody watched. I thought she was good in it, so sure, she's probably gonna be good as Batgirl. And we know this is gonna be in the DCEU because it's gonna be starring J.K. Simmons as James Gordon, or Jim Gordon as Gordon. And weirdly enough, it's also gonna star Michael Keaton as Batman. And obviously, this kind of makes me think that in the Flash movie, shenanigans are going to ensue, and that movie is basically going to end with Michael Keaton, I guess, replacing Ben Affleck as the DCEU Batman, which I don't really love. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about just them grabbing the '89 Batman to be the mainstay Batman. That seems a bit cheap. I don't know, maybe, but we'll see how it all works out. But we know that Michael Keaton is going to be in this. So I guess this could also just be a movie in the Keatonverse, not in the DCEU, or I guess in the Burdenverse, which is just weird to think about. Again, DC, who knows what they're doing? No, nobody does. Okay, so last thing that could maybe potentially show up in 2022 is that Gotham PD show. Again, they haven't given it a release date, but I think it was like in the Hollywood Reporter. It was just like in an article they were talking about it, and they casually mentioned it coming out this year. But again, that was months ago, so who knows when they're actually planning on releasing this? But it could potentially show up in 2022. I mean, I'm definitely, I guess. I mean, if it's good, it'll be good, and sure, why not? But I guess it seems a bit overzealous what they're doing with this Batman verse, where we're getting a spin-off of the GCPD and a spin-off of a Penguin show, where it's like, you haven't even figured out your DCEU and you're already trying to create a Matt Reeves Batman universe. It's like, just calm down. Just calm down a bit. But, I mean, listen, the Batman looks amazing, and if this is just a really good cop show, then sure, why not? But, I'm not going to lie, it does give me Gotham vibes, if you remember that Fox show. Like, if you had asked me, like, do you want another Gotham show? I would have said, no. No, I do not want another Gotham show. But, I'll give it a chance, because, of course I will. And, okay, so that is everything that is coming out in 2022, and maybe coming out in 2022. What do you think about that this year? I mean, if all of that is coming out this year, I mean, it's a pretty stacked year and potentially a really good year for comic book movies. Like, even movies that I'm not necessarily like anticipating being great, like I'm still interested in it for what they're doing for their respective universes, and there are just a lot of stuff in there that like Black Lightning that could or Black Adam that could maybe surprise me, and a bunch of cool shows. And yeah, this is looking to be a decent year for comic book stuff. So, okay. Now I'm going to move on to the last segment of the show, and it's going to be what I'm watching, where I'm just going to talk about stuff that I've consumed this past week. First up, I watched Boba Fett episode 2. I liked it. After the first episode, I was like, get out of the Tusken Raider flashback stuff. I need more mobster stuff. Disney said, "Screw you, you're an idiot," and I was an idiot because I actually I liked the Tusken Raider stuff in this episode. Like, um, it just got like way more compelling. I really enjoyed Boba Fett's relationship with them. I really enjoyed seeing that develop. I like seeing him train with that lady Tusken Raider, which apparently is a lady. I didn't know it was a lady, but there's a stunt woman who plays her, and that was cool. I really like like the train robbery scene. Like it felt like very like Western. Like I really appreciate how it's like on one part of the show we're getting like a mobster type of vibe, and then on the other part of the show we're getting like a Dances with Wolves Western vibe. I'm like, this is cool. Like, I think that's really cool, and yeah, I what are you gonna say? I enjoyed it, and even like in the even in like the mobster stuff, like at the beginning of the episode, like I thought that stuff was a lot better than the mobster stuff in the first episode. Like in the first episode, I thought the tone was like really inconsistent. I thought scenes that were supposed to be tense weren't because of the weird like whimsical music choices that they used. But I mean, when he has that confrontation with the mayor, it's super tense. When he has the confrontation with the Hutts, it's super tense. Apparently this Wookiee is a big deal. He's from like the comic books or something. Like I didn't know that, but apparently there were a bunch of people that were like, "Oh my gosh, it's Glimble Glorp. It's Glimble Glorp from the Adventures of Globagloop comic book." And I was like, "Dang, I didn't know who Glimble Glorp was." Yeah, I still don't know his name, and I don't want to look it up because I want to experience it in the show. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this guy looks cool, honestly. So I want to learn more about this Wookiee. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I know there are a lot of people that are like they're killing Boba Fett. They're killing my childhood. He's not badass enough. And again, like I know this is like a cliche argument, but it's like again, like this is a character that had 3 lines in the original trilogy and went out like a bitch. Like I don't and like don't give me the whole like but in the extended universe, he was a badass. He did cool things in the extended universe. Like, I don't care about your dumb comic books or your books. Get out of here with reading, okay? I don't care. Like, I really don't. I like the show. I like the character that they're turning Boba Fett into when he wasn't even really a character in the original trilogy. I think it's cool. So yeah. I also started watching Arcane. And I'm digging it so far. I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm digging it. Like, I don't know anything about League of Legends. Like, I've never played that game. I don't know anything about the lore. Um, but I mean, this show is just good. You know, it has a beautiful art style. Like, it has a sort of like hand drawn quality to it that is honestly just really mesmerizing to look at, and it just looks amazing. And I heard someone before I started watching it. I heard someone describe it as like the Game of Thrones of animation, and like I totally see where they're coming from. Where, you know, like the show is kind of focused around like this. I forgot her name. But Powder and her sister, this character. It's kind of focused around them, but it's also just like a lot broader in scope, and you see stuff happening from a bunch of different sides, and there are just a bunch of different characters that you're following, and yeah, like it's just a really good show. And I've heard that like the beginning is nothing yet. Like apparently it's just gonna get even better as it goes on, which I cannot wait for. So yeah, Arcane is good. I also watched Cobra Kai season 4. Now I haven't actually talked about Cobra Kai on this channel yet, so I discovered I started watching Cobra Kai like literally like a month ago, and like I binged all 3 seasons, and then I didn't realize, oh, season 4 is just about to drop. And so I watched season 4 and I'm like, this show is the best thing that humanity has ever produced. It is such a perfect like continuation of the Karate Kid franchise. It's just amazing. It perfectly captures the cheese of the original movies while still maintaining the heart of it all. It's just like it's genuinely well written. Like I think it just does a lot of really smart twists on sort of certain tropes that you expect, and it's like in season 4, it's like at the point where it's like, okay, I know they're not going to do this way exactly, but I still don't really know how they're going to handle these certain tropes. And so it's just a good show. Like, I know it's like the most popular show in the world, so I don't need to evangelize it, but if you like Karate Kid and you still haven't watched Cobra Kai, I mean, watch Cobra Kai. um so yeah, can't wait for season 5. Next up, I watched Nightmare Alley. It's good. It's definitely good. I don't know. I just didn't love it like how I guess most people do because it's not being nominated for an Oscar. I was just like, it was a decent movie. Like it's visually fantastic, right? Like Guillermo del Toro directed it, and like visually, it's incredible, right? Like the set design is insane. Um, I think the lighting especially is amazing. It's creepy. Like it's not a horror movie, but it's like it's like about a guy who's in a carnival, and so it looks creepy, right? The way old school carnivals looked. And it's about stars Bradley Cooper. He's the main character, and he's kind of like a fraudster. And it was just I guess my main problem with it was that it was a little predictable, and it was just like very, and my camera went out again, but it was just very like obvious in everything that it was doing. And I guess maybe there were certain moments where it wanted you to be surprised by some of the stuff that it was doing, and you would be like, oh wow, this is what the meaning of this movie is. And I was like, yeah, that obviously that's where this movie was going. So again, I don't want to get into like spoilers, but it just didn't hit me quite as hard as maybe the movie was intending, and maybe as hard as it hit other people. But also, I guess I could maybe give it a pass because apparently it is a remake of an older movie, so maybe it was just kind of like trapped in needing to be faithful to that movie. So, yeah, I can. It's good though. It's good. Go check it out if you haven't. Next, I tried watching The Power of the Dog. I'm not gonna lie, I was bored out of my mind, and I have not finished it. I think I just don't like westerns. Unless it has to do with Star Wars. I was just bored. I guess Benedict Cumberbatch is good in it, I guess, but I did not enjoy this movie. And I didn't finish watching it. So I I don't know what else to say. it's just it's yeah, it's okay, so it's about what's his name? He was in Breaking Bad. He's like the kind of like the quiet guy that's like one of the people that traps Jesse. Jesse Clemens, I think, is his name. Yeah. He plays Benedict Cumberbatch's brother, and he tries to get with Mary Jane, Kirsten Dunst, and then Benedict Cumberbatch doesn't like that he gets with Kirsten Dunst, so he tries to like terrorize her because he feels like his brother is a simp, like literally. And it's just boring. I didn't enjoy it. So whatever. Okay. Next up, I played. Well, I very briefly started playing Psychonauts. I just started it. Like I just got through like the opening cutscene and some of the opening portion of the gameplay. Like barely got through any of it, but so far I'm enjoying it. Like considering it's an older game, the animation is actually like really good, and like the faces are like surprisingly well animated. And it's just like really pleasing to look at. The voice acting is really good. The writing is like really funny. Um, it's a lot more like, I guess, mature than I thought it was gonna be. Like the some of the humor is like kind of violent and disturbing. So I wasn't really sure what I was getting into because I never played this game before. But and I wanted to play it because then I want to play Psychonauts too because apparently that game is amazing. But yeah, Psychonauts, if it's on Xbox Game Pass, go check it out because it's from what I've the very like I haven't even got into any of the gameplay yet, so I don't even know what the gameplay is. But um, aesthetically and story wise, it's very intriguing. Okay, I also played Halo 2. I've been playing it and I stopped. And here's the thing. I think I just don't like Halo. And okay, so I'm kind of at a point in my life, right, where like first of all, I think I value story in my video games. Like I want to be invested in what I'm doing, right? And like I've played through Halo Reach. I played through the first Halo and I started playing through Halo 2 and I have yet to be invested in the story of Halo. Like it's just not good. Um I mean I will say Halo 2 is like an improvement, I guess, but even still like I don't care about the character of Master Chief. I barely care about the alien guy. Um but honestly, and I think my biggest problem is that I just really don't like the gameplay just kind of becomes grating and annoying after a while because they just don't stop sending enemies. Like I will be in a room and I won't be able to progress because they just keep on sending enemies. And it's not even that they're difficult to kill, there's just so many of them. And I just feel like the pacing of the game is just off. And then sometimes, yeah, they will overwhelm me and I'll have to restart an area again. And I just got too annoyed with the game and I stopped playing it. Well, and actually, like the final straw of it was I saved and exited the game, and then it's when I got back into the game, it started me off like further along in the game, and I didn't know where I was, and I was disoriented, and I was just like, okay, you know what? I think I'm done with this game. Maybe I don't, and so yeah, Halo. I don't think it's for me. I feel like I maybe probably made somebody upset, and I apologize. And I'm also going to just be a complete hypocrite when I say that I've also been playing Super Mario 64. um, uh, like I just said that I think I value story in my games. I mean, there are exceptions, right? Like obviously there's no story in Mario, and I am okay with that. But I guess the difference between Mario and Halo is that, you know, Mario has the colorful art style. Um, I think just the jumping around and the finding the stars is, I guess, it's just more fun than shooting the same variation of an alien for the billionth time and no sign of the horde stopping. Um, and I don't know why I don't know why this turned into a Halo comparison, but like has anybody ever compared Halo to and Mario 64? I don't think that's ever been a comparison. I think I've achieved something today. But yeah, I mean I started playing Mario 64. I will say, okay, and I know I'm like weeks or months late into this discourse, but this Mario 3D All-Stars collection is nonsense. I mean, first of all, I grew up on Mario 64 DS. And why not just include that in this package? Like we already thought, or it was already rumored that this was going to be like a remaster of these games, like a proper remaster of Mario 64, and I'm like, okay, if you don't want to go through that trouble, just put you already have a remaster in the DS version. Why not put that one? It also has extra content. Super bizarre that they didn't just put that in there. like so weird. So like I'm used to playing the DS version, and so it's actually like really weird going backwards, I guess, like devolving into the 64 version. Um where I think there are just like less stars. I'm trying to remember cuz in this you have 7 stars in each level. I think there were 8 in the DS version. And then obviously like in the DS version you can play as different characters. Like in the DS version you start as Yoshi, and you eventually move on to unlocking Mario, Luigi, and Wario. And I mean in this one you just play as Mario. So it's fun and it's interesting seeing like the differences in and like what I'm used to versus this game. But I mean honestly it's still fun. like I'm still having a good time with it. Um and I've never played Mario Sunshine, at least all the way through. And I've played a lot of Mario Galaxy for sure, because I think I played Mario Sunshine at a friend's house, and I had Mario Galaxy. I never beat Mario Galaxy, but I played a ton of Mario Galaxy. So, but I am excited to go through those games. And then yeah, the other thing I'm annoyed about is that Mario Galaxy 2 isn't here. What? Why not? That is so annoying that I'm not going to be able to play Mario Galaxy 2. like, why is that not here? I It's annoying. And also like the timed exclusivity of it all. It's stupid. And yeah, but the reason why I got this recently was because it was just at a Best Buy. They had extra copies of this, and I was like, oh, that's a limited copy, and it's not available anymore, so I might as well buy it. So they got me. I supported Nintendo's shady business practice. But yeah, that is the end of Nerdy Movie News Roundup. That was a good show today. I introduced some new segments, or at least what you've been watching. Like I did it properly this week. I've tried to do it a few times, and I've been really inconsistent with it. But I'm gonna start like doing a better job of keeping track of everything that I consume, and to be able to talk about it. So that's what we're doing. And yeah, I was thinking next week. I'm thinking next week. I think I'm gonna rank all of the Spider-Man movies. I think now is like a good time to do it. So get ready for that. Get ready for some hot takes. Okay. News flash. Spider-Man Far From Home is the last number. It's the worst one. That's the only one I'm giving out. So yeah, but that's it for this episode. Get ready for that next week. And remember to subscribe, like the video, comment, do all that stuff. And